The golf swing. How does it work? What does it consist of? How do we develop it? How do we maintain it? So many questions, and questions that have been asked for many, many years. The golf swing is really very complex in a lot of ways, but when done well, very simple. I'd like to tell you about what constitutes a good golf swing. Then you'll see how it works and really how it's going to affect your golf game. In actual fact, there's quite a few components involved in the golf swing, and I'm going to talk to you about them now because I think if you understand what the components are, it will really help you to have a clear vision of where you are now and where you're trying to get to. The golf swing really, in many ways, is very athletic. Physics are involved, but it's also an art form. If you watch the great players in the world, they have this great flow, they have this great rhythm. Some may be a little quicker than others, some may be a little slower. We're all built differently. No two swings look exactly the same. We're not trying to create a perfect model. We're trying to have some fundamentals which repeat, and that's the key. Because in essence, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get the club face square at impact, traveling down the target line at maximum speed. Now, if we can do that, I know it sounds simple, but if we can achieve that, then we're going to play some really good golf and have a lot of fun. You know, there's nothing greater than hitting solid golf shots. When the ball comes off the middle of the club face, whether it be with an iron, a tee shot, or even a putt, there's no more a satisfying feeling than that. And that's what golf's all about. Yes, we have to learn to score, no question. The short game plays a vital role in this game. Thinking about the game plays a vital role. But the fun for most people is striking the ball solidly, hitting those long straight tee shots, eliminating those bad shots, learning to hit the ball consistently, and then finally learning to score and then saying, hey, to your friends, this is what I've achieved. You know, we have handicaps in golf. We can see our improvement, and that's the great thing about it. So let's get started. Let's talk about the golf swing. I think it really consists of what I call the 4 Ps, and that's preparation, how we go about setting up to a golf ball. In other words, the platform, the foundation of a swing, which consists of the way you hold the club, the way you position your body, the way you aim yourself, and also where you position the ball relative to your stance. So that preparation is all important. If we're going to have a good swing, we've got to have a good foundation. Now we move into the moving parts of the swing, how the body actually works in the swing. When we swing back, the body turns. There's a winding, there's a coiling. We're trying to create leverage in the golf swing whereby we can hit the ball with effortless power. We don't want to stand there and trying to flail at the ball. As soon as we try to hit the golf ball, that's when things start to go wrong. When you're playing well, you find it's really effortless. There's really not much energy applied. In fact, there's a lot of energy applied, but it doesn't feel that way. So what we learn to do is use the body in such a way that we wind up. As in other sports, whether in tennis, whether you're serving, whether you're hitting a baseball, whether you're throwing a ball, you use the body to create the power, stretching those big muscles. It allows you to wind up, coil like a spring, stretch, wind up, unwind. That winding and unwinding really is what creates the power. So learning how the body moves, weight shift, turn, coil, is all important in developing a good golf swing. The third aspect to it is the positioning in the swing. In other words, what the club is actually doing in the swing. The path, the track that it swings on, the plane that it swings on, the ability to get the club moving up and down on a simple track whereby we can create a repeating swing. We need to understand what the club face is doing. We need to understand what the hands are doing. We need to understand how the power is generated from the body and passes through the arms and hands into the club. We talk about the certain positions in the swing which are really important, and certainly to start the swing, how we get the club actually moving on track, and then hopefully that club staying on track throughout the whole swing. Once we've understood certain positions in the swing, and there's not that many, but there are a few crucial positions we have to make clear. Once we've got that picture and we combine the movement of the club with the movement of the body, That's really what the golf swing is all about. The final P really is putting it all together. How you blend the swing together. How you do it with rhythm, with flow, with tempo, with good balance, good timing. Allowing yourself to repeat a swing on a regular basis. If you can learn to develop that swing on a regular basis, when you go out and play, you're going to play consistent golf. And this is what everybody's looking for, consistency. We can all go out and play well one day, but the next day we seem to lose it. And that's the nature of the game. But within reason, if you understand your swing, put a little practice in, check it periodically with this David Ledbetter interactive video, you're going to see how this will really take place. You're going to develop a golf game which will allow you to play your best golf and to reach your full potential. In fact, you're going to have a lot of fun. Golf is very rewarding when you work on the right things. So let's get started. Body motion. How does the body, the full torso, actually work in the swing? Well, if you look at the swing itself, we're standing with our feet, say, somewhere in the region of shoulder width apart, or maybe slightly narrower or wider, depending on the club we're using. But very important, once we've got good posture, is to learn to move the body in such a way that we create motion. We see so many players who stay dead still in an effort to try to hit the ball straight. Well, you need motion to hit a ball. Your body has to move. Any sport that you play, whether you throw a ball, kick a ball, serve a tennis ball, no matter what it is, you have to learn to use the big muscles in the swing correctly, the big muscles of the upper body and the lower body, supported by the feet. Remember, balance is important. We have to move with balance. Even though we move a lot, we don't want to move out of balance. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to get the club back to square when we make contact with the ball. So, in setting up to the ball, if I took this center point here, as I swing back, there is a little bit of a lateral movement. It's what I term a lateral rotation. There's a little bit of lateral, there's a lot of rotation. As we swing in the opposite direction, there's a little bit of lateral and there's a lot of rotation. So we don't just stay around a fixed point. If we stay around a fixed point, it's very difficult to get the angle correctly onto the ball. In other words, if I stay dead still, the club goes up and down. Remember, the club has to swing in a fairly wide arc as it swings around the body. So the body has to move. So I like to think in terms of the body moving in such a way that, hey, as I swing back, I try to get my shirt buttons on top of my right leg. As I swing through, ultimately, at the finish, my shirt buttons are on top of my left leg. So we don't have to keep the head dead still. We don't want to encourage extra movement, certainly, but really the rotation of the body. If I just lay this club down, put the hands behind my body, just to describe to you how the body moves. There's a little shift. I turn back. I get my back facing the target. I pretty much turn my upper body twice the amount of my lower body in that general area. As I swing back, I brace myself. So there's no wasted motion. We keep a lot of fixation in this right leg so the weight does not go to the outside of the foot. I then, as I swing through, my weight starts to shift back to the left side. The body then starts to turn through towards the target. So when I finish, I'm now in a nice balanced position, up on my right toe, facing the target in a complete finish. So once again, we move, we turn. We move, we turn. And we do this with a degree of rhythm and fluidity. Smoothness. So it's a movement that we create speed. The way our body moves, the way we wind up, the way we coil. Turning my upper body twice the amount of my lower body creates a coiling action which allows me then to unwind. Very much like a spring. We coil it going back, we uncoil it going through. So there's a degree of flow, there's a lot of motion, but once again, we have to think in terms of moving in such a way that it allows the club to swing. Remember, the dog wags the tail. We have to get our body moving if we want the club to move.